What is up, A team? Welcome back. Awesome here. Hope everyone's having an awesome day. So, we're going to continue talking about Binance.us, Binance, CZ. There's been a lot of stuff put out here by the SEC. So, let's dig into this because it's getting very, very interesting now that these chat logs are coming up here. And I think that this is something that we need to continue to cover. And people are soon going to see where a lot of this came from. I know that there's a lot of people out there that want to be on CZ's side and want to go through all this. But in all reality, there's a lot of evidence that the SEC is pulling out here from internal conversations with Binance leadership. And, again, there's a lot of evidence from the SEC's case against Binance, including internal chat logs, which we're going to go through here. First, between Sam Lin, who was the former compliance lead at Binance, and then Alvin, who was the head of BD. And the one thing that's crazy here is that in this conversation, you can see they talk about the risks of holding BNB. They talk about just the compliance issues with Binance, all these things that have come up. And it's very, very concerning when you start to really look at this, and it sheds light on exactly what's going on here. And again, these were back in 2018. So this is right on the cusp of Binance becoming what Binance is. But it just goes to show you that at this time, even when they were new, when Binance was first coming up, like they had no idea that they were going to get to where they were at today. They were just another cryptocurrency out there, and just got lucky to be at where we're at today. But this is really what it comes back to. And again, Samuel Lin is the former compliance lead, and as you can see right here, BNB any day can go to zero. So he's already doubting BNB right there. He also says we are operating an effing unlicensed security exchange in the US, bro. So that's where that comment came from. If you don't remember, on the actual SEC's Twitter page, you can see that they actually put that out there. And that was what was crazy, is that's where that comment came from, is that they are operating an unlicensed security exchange in the US. And this is by the compliance lead at Binance. And he's also admitting that Binance could probably go to zero. He doesn't believe in the project itself. So that right there to me is definitely concerning, right? And this is back in 2018. So again, it's like, that's crazy. So let's go to the next one here. This is another one of the chat logs here, and this really is where he's telling Alvin to take his BNB bonus and dump it into USDT, and so that's really where it comes from. He says, "Can easily go to cents, haha," and he talks about this worse than Hobie price. Anybody who takes BNB now is effing brave. The smartest thing to hold now is USDT. I advise you, bro, if you take your bonus, lowest risk asset in crypto, straight away sell 50% to USDT. So now you have executive leaders at Binance selling off their bags of BNB because they don't believe in what it could do, and putting it into the most trusted crypto out there in USDT. He's like, yeah, bro, that's what I told you when BNB was 12, right? Last time people take bonuses 100% hold. Then they realized they were being effing retarded. And again, this is back in December 24, 2018. These chat logs are damning. I mean, basically you have executives out here selling on top of the community, taking their bonuses, dipping out just like every other, I guess you could say crap coin that's out there. I mean, this was no different at that time. And now you're seeing these people really not believing in the project of which they're holding. So again, I'm going to take this. I don't really know what to say. This was almost 5 years ago, but it is shocking. Let's keep going here. We got some more to uncover here. This next one talks about the compliance side, and they're basically saying that this is just a sinking ship, just like the Titanic, from a compliance standpoint. And again, very damning if you think about it. You're not alone on this sinking ship now. If it sinks, I really want to sing people to CZ. We can find a float to get. We can find a float. It says like Titanic, ha ha ha. So. These are very telling on where people's stances are. Obviously, BNB has grown significantly since 2018, but it just, again, shows you where this all is and where this stems from. The next one here is this one talks about how Sam, how he feels the risk reward isn't really in his favor, and that really they were wanting him to become the COO, and he was basically saying like, hey, I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to sign off on that because I just don't feel the risk rewards there. And again, being the CCO, they'd have to sign off on things that maybe could actually be damning for the project, and his name would be on it, right? That's the thing that sucks. And so he doesn't want to actually sign off things. And the OFAC is the Office of Foreign Assets. So that's a big thing. He doesn't want to partake in that kind of thing. So it says right here, that's why I feel the risk reward of this company, it's not balanced. There's no effing way in hell I'm signing off as the CCO for the OFAC shit. And like I said, the OFAC is the Office of Foreign Assets. He says, but you know what? Nobody wants to take the role of COS. We are too, oh man. And so that's what he's basically saying, is that he doesn't want to take the risk of this. It's not worth the reward. And then the next one here gets even crazier here. It says he also mentions that Wei Zhao, which is the CFO, asked him to take the CCO spot and then sign off for double the pay, but he wouldn't do it. And like it says right here, Samuelson says, Wei said there's no way we can hire a U.S. COO due to our budget. So now it's a budget issue. But he says, I'd rather I just double your pay, Sam, and you sign off. I just said no effing way. There's a certain point where money is totally useless, and that is making a declaration to U.S. that you are clean. And he's basically saying that I'm not doing that because we're not clean. We have compliance issues, and I'm not going to put my name on there. And he says, when Shanghai is totally cowboy, if they want, they can make Sonny or Roger sign off. And then Alvin comes back and says, Wei knows, and then Samuel comes back and says, or CZ. And then Alvin says, exactly what the hell happened? Like the CZ team or the CS team just Cowboys and F shit up. He says, bro, OFAC, this kind of stuff, they won't go after Sonny. They'll go after the asshole who signed off. And he said, and the CEO too. You say clean, right? Clean. What's clean? I mean, there's just a lot going on in here, and it's basically this is again, this is coming from executive people or people that hold major leaderships in Binance coming out and saying these same things back in 2018. And so this is, again, where a lot of the SEC is going back to. This is where it's stemming from. And this is definitely concerning, right? I mean, let me know your thoughts down below on what you think about this. But it says right here, most interestingly, when talking about the Wei and CZ, that they know exactly what the hell happened in regards to why people don't want to sign off on the OFSC reporting. And they basically said Wei knows or CZ exactly what the hell happened. That's the most concerning thing, is because they know, basically they're saying that Wei and CZ know that they're not in compliance here. They know that they probably are, like they said, operating in an exchange with, operating securities and selling securities without being an exchange for it. And these guys are basically saying that the leaderships, the CEO and everyone else knows about it, but yet, they want everyone else to sign off and take the heat for it. Pretty weird, pretty crazy, pretty crazy things that are developing here with this little chat that the SEC has put out there. And it says right here that Sam Lin, the head of compliance, goes on to say there's no effing way we are clean. And this is probably the most craziest thing I think I read out of this whole entire thing here, is that you have the head of compliance coming out and saying that there's no way we are clean. I've seen nothing to prove we are. Like, what the heck, dude? Like, number one, to put this in writing, like, I'm not saying to like not be honest or anything like that, but I have this in a chat bot. I mean, you've gone through business 101. I mean, you've been through corporate training before. Like, you do not put things in writing that can be discovered, right? This blows my mind that leadership like this has this stuff in writing, talking back and forth about the very bad things in regards to Binance. Where is the corporate training on this? This is like CYA 101. I mean, I'm not saying that. I mean, obviously, karma is one thing, and these things come to light here. But you would think that these people would be a lot smarter than they seem to be in terms of writing this stuff in a public forum or in a forum it's discoverable. And oh my gosh, dude, I don't know what to say to this. But this tells you that there's a lot going on here. And I get that people want to be mad at the SEC for going after Binance here, but there's a lot of things here that are showing that Binance, could potentially be in the wrong. And if they are in the wrong, they should be held accountable. I mean, that's just as simple as it is. If someone's doing something that could hurt others, they should be held accountable. And that seems like what's going on here. Let's go to the next one here. So this one right here, they talk about the CS is teaching people. So basically the internal people are teaching people how to circumvent procedures and how business priorities are, supersede that of any compliance training that's out there. And so really this goes back to what the SEC was going after Binance for in the first place. Or one of the things was that they were allowing people to trade on Binance.us or Binance.com. And be under Binance.us. So again, it'd be like someone here in America could go and trade on Binance.us and or go on to Binance.com, and there was no restrictions whatsoever. So this goes to show you here that that's what was going on here. It says um, our FNCS is teaching people how to circumvent sanctions. Bunch of F-tards. We got so many business priorities that compliance is like they're talking about doing training. They'd rather have new hires. The strategy of B&B is to survive for 2 years and F off. Like that right there to me just shows me that like B&B was never meant to be what it is today. They got lucky in some way, some shape, some form, and were able to create what they created. This was like any other shit coin out there at some point. You know, the strategy of B&B was to survive 2 years and then just rug pull. Like basically that's what Samuel Lim's saying here. That's wild, right? I mean, to think that like that was the strategy as the business is like, oh yeah, we'll just, you know, try to survive for 2 years and then bounce, right? But then on top of that, just seeing the business priorities and, you know, they're not even focusing on compliance and making sure that people here in the United States didn't have access to things in Binance and that they were doing the proper things like KYC, but they weren't doing any of that. And that's where it gets a little bit crazy here. And the next one here, I think, is even more telling for me. And this is really where the SEC presented a translated record of CZ, specifically noting that the 2019 blocking of U.S. users was one of the biggest things here. And as you guys know, the US users had to use a KYC, but really some of them were ignoring that and they were allowed to go in there and use this regardless. And that's because they were allowing loopholes to be, I guess you could say, any loophole you could go through and do whatever you wanted to do. And there was no cutoff. There was no one stopping it from happening from the Binance side, even though they knew this was happening and against the rules of what was actually put forth. That's why Binance.us was created, was to avoid people going and using an exchange offshores. And so, like it says, this was actually translated, and so they certifying that they're translating this. And it says, CZ stated, our goal is to reduce our own losses, but at the same time to prevent the U.S. regulatory entities from troubling us. That's our biggest goal. I have started doing it already. I stopped all the new registrations, which we've already announced on all of our social media. So far, our risk is low. We don't have to overcorrect ourselves. We have showed them the gestures, but don't cut off our own hands and feet before others come after us with an axe. We are not going to pick one way over the other three. High A is right. We have to support all three, whichever user picks, they decide for themselves. How do we slowly spread the news to the users? We don't send 3,000 emails all at once. Maybe try 100 emails to begin with and see what the results do. Also, we are flexible on the 9/12 deadline. We just tell them we did our best, but there are more orders that we would do to have a chance to review. It's all risk. The U.S. regulatory authorities did not give us the deadline. We volunteered that deadline. It's not set in stone. No matter what the deadline is, our goal is for these American users to slowly switch to other kinds of users. Of course, we are not going to publicly announce this. This is too sensitive. We can ignore the new IP addresses. They will open new accounts through other countries, come up with new KYCs. It will be easier for us to process. For those who want to switch to new KYC, this is a solution for them. The most difficult part is that some users, they do not have foreign company contact, nor do they have non-American KYC information. So basically what this is saying is that, hey, you know what? It doesn't really matter. Well, we're not going to really change anything here. And if people decide to use new IP addresses, if they decide to be in other countries and access our Binance.com, we really don't care. We're not going to require any of this because, again, this is on them, not on us type of deal. In all reality, that's not the case at all. The case is you got to make sure that U.S. citizens are restricted from using your platform, and that's really what it comes down to. And now today, you actually can't access Binance.com. Like as an American citizen, I've tried just to test it out, and yeah, they require you to KYC and go through the whole process. But back then, when they were requiring them to do this, they weren't really following through with that, and so. Again, I think that claim that the SEC is making towards Binance is sticking because, again, they have a translated document here by CZ in a chat right here, an email and or a chat of him saying this himself. This is coming from CZ. So you can't really, like, CZ can't combat this. Like they were going against the rules of what the CZ or what the US wanted. And it blows my mind. You can't argue this. This is pretty damning. Let's go on to the next one here. So the next thing that comes up here is this is an internal conversation during the launch of Binance.us, in which Binance execs were talking about leaving a door open for U.S. users via purchase KYC and VPNs. And this is, again, goes back to that original conversation here where they weren't going to really do a whole lot to restrict anyone. And then it comes back here and it says, CZ also coming up a lot. Users aren't sure if we will even offer BNB. It says BitMax will do pretty well. People will be selling their KYC accounts to US persons. This guy gets it. He sends over a Twitter thing. Sounds like they can't just follow the Chinese users tactic. VPN, bot, KYCs, etc. Well, it says if we leave a door open, people will always use it. So they're just going to leave the door open, and if people, somehow find their way through there, who cares? We move forward. Again, something that the SEC wasn't allowing. That was the whole reason of Binance.us, but they've left doors open so people could access it and continue to trade offshores. And that's really, again, where the SEC is coming from here. The next one here, I think, is something we could talk about too. Next doc is pretty damning one as well. In this conversation, Sam also tells someone that the entity can be onboarded through the U.S. exchanges, but trade via .com with special setups. And this is where I think CZ will probably regret putting this out there, because it says CZ will definitely agree to this, which is pretty crazy. It says the best way I can think of it is to onboard with US exchange, but we let them trade on .com through a special arrangement. So they're talking about whales being able to come on here and do special arrangements. We asked them to get set up on the US. In the meantime, onboard them .com. We asked them to onboard with US, and then if their volume is really very big, we will push hard on .com side to accept it as an exceptional basis. And he says, understood. CZ will definitely agree to this. You know him. Are you sure you're not a salesman? And so, again, this is just executives speaking about this. And I don't really know what to say other than this is pretty telling on what's going on here. Right here, this goes on to say that they'll always have ways for whales to enter into this, as that's part of the business. It says we always have a way for whales. That's the nature of the business. Is either we do it or Hobie does it, which is obviously Justin's son. Gosh. So this one right here is actually saying that a lot of the Binance US withdrawals are coming from Binance International. And oh my gosh, it just says that in the instance where customers withdraw assets off a BAM trading platform to Binance.com, the transactions may appear on the blockchain as direct transactions between this wallet and the Binance wallet. And so this last one right here is an internal conversation talking about USD, converting USDC into BUSD. And again, it says, haha, I'm on a wild goose chase to make sure we have knowledge of where 17 million is moving around. I was kind of confused when you asked me how the money was moving around, because to me, it's literally money in, money out. But like, why? And I make sure I don't lose a penny. You don't charge us 5 BPS. My average charge is 3 BPS. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of why USD needs to be BUSD versus just keeping as BUSD and converting to USD, since all our bills are in USD. So again, this is them having that internal conversation about this, and questioning BUSD versus USD, so on and so forth. Like, why are we doing this when we just do everything in USD? So, really what this comes down to is that there's a lot more information out here, a lot more things to cover when it comes to Binance. I think that there's like 80 plus documents coming out in regards to everything with this. Again, I got a lot of this information from Adam here. If you guys don't know, this guy is awesome when it comes to covering this. Definitely go check him out. I've been following him, and he puts out really, really good content here. So definitely, I'll put his description down below, because follow him on this. He breaks it down very, very well and puts it out here nicely for everyone to read. And again, I'm making my video content is based off of what he's putting out here, because he just breaks it down nicely. And so I'm taking what he's basically putting on Twitter here and making a video, an audio version of it for anyone wanting to watch. So again, Adam does really, really good job here. He deserves it. So yeah, man, stay tuned with this. And we got some crazy, crazy things coming out here. I honestly don't know what to expect anymore. I'm a little dumbfounded that they would have a lot of this in writing. You'd think that they would be better about this, but that was 5 years ago. And a lot of the stuff is getting pretty bad. So we're going to sort of see how the next documents come out here. I'm sure we're going to cover some more of it. But yeah, in the meantime, leave any questions, comments, concerns down below. I want to hear your thoughts on where you think this is at. Is this worse than we thought? I think so. I definitely think so. But with all that, hope you guys have a fantastic day. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you haven't subscribed. Hit that subscribe button. With all that said, we're out. Peace out, everyone.